Hey guys, today on People Now. Lady Gaga falls off stage. It's all caught on camera. We'll tell you what happened and what Mama Monster did next.
You do it elegantly and with grace.
Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston fangirl over each other in their new series, The Morning Show.
Visited by her grandmother's spirit while wedding dress shopping. The Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo, is here with the story.
Jennifer Lawrence will marry her fiancé, Cook Maroney, this weekend. We have details.
It's all today, live on People Now. Let's go. Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to People Now. Great to see you. The weekend is here. We did it.
Do you have any plans?
Mama Bear, that's my wife, is out of town. That's not her name, but she's out of town for like a high school reunion. So I'm riding solo with the girls this weekend.
Daddy daycare.
I'm pumped about it's like I'm excited because I haven't seen them a lot lately, so I get a lot of time, but I'm also already exhausted. And I'm gonna complain about exhaustion like crazy, even though it's just 2 fun days. Anyway, what are you up to?
I'm seeing A Mentalist on Broadway, Darren Star. I love magic.
That is gonna be fun.
He's an illusionist and mentalist. So
and we saw that last illusionist show on Broadway, and it was really amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like being
So that's going on.
Yeah.
You like what?
being fooled.
Fool me once. All right, so there's so much going on this weekend, but also on today's show. Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey are setting the record straight about where the Office cast would be today after Chrissy Teigen suggested that Jim and Pam may no longer be in a happy marriage. We're going to fill you in on everything that they had to say later on in the show.
Stirring things up here, but first we want to know, do you think Jim and Pam are still together in 2019? Answer in our People poll. Tweet us your thoughts using the hashtag PeopleNow.
We're going to check in on that a little later, but for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. Starting with one superstar who experienced a nasty fall at their concert. Watch this. Yikes! Lady Gaga falling there off stage during her latest Enigma show at her Las Vegas residency, plummeting over the edge while in the arms of a fan that she had welcomed up to dance with her. The fan lost his balance while holding Gaga and tumbled over, as you can see there. Not to worry, though. After the fall, Gaga was back on her feet immediately with the help of security guards. And ever the professional, she quickly reassured the audience she was okay, even going on to console the upset fan with a hug, saying, "Could you promise me something? Could you forgive yourself right now for what just happened?" So she wanted to just fix it right away. Gaga then went on to belt out her hit song, "Million Reasons," with that fan at her side. Gaga's no stranger to performance injuries. She also told the audience Thursday night that she's fallen off the stage before. She added, "I've actually stage dived. It was like a run, but then I stopped leaping and just dropped." Gaga launched her Vegas residency at the Park MGM in December. We're obviously happy to hear that she's okay, and that fan now has quite the epic story. People has partnered with Katie Couric Media on a new series called See Her Story, which celebrates female trailblazers and rule breakers who have shaped our culture and our history, all in honor of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which prohibits barring citizens from voting on the basis of sex. Take a look at Julie Andrews' story.
She brought Mary Poppins to life, gave Maria von Trapp a voice, and was fit for a queen in The Princess Diaries. But before she played any of these iconic women, Julie Andrews was born Julia Elizabeth Wells in Surrey, England. Her talent emerged early. At 11, she started singing on the road with her parents. And by 13 was performing in front of Queen Elizabeth. 6 years later, she was on Broadway, and at 20 was Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. It must have been crushing when she lost that same role to Audrey Hepburn in the movie version, whose singing voice was provided by Marnie Nixon.
I could have danced, danced, danced.
Undeterred, Julie went to Hollywood and made a movie too, Mary Poppins,
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious,
for which she won an Oscar, beating out none other than Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, this is lovely. I know you Americans are famous for your hospitality, but this is really ridiculous.
But her biggest role was yet to come.
the hills are alive with the sound of music.
As the mother of 3 daughters, 2 adopted from Vietnam, she decided to use her voice in other ways. as a goodwill ambassador for the UN's International Fund for Women.
Women contribute so much to the economy of their countries, but they are often ignored by the policymakers.
And a lifelong supporter of LGBTQ people, with Victor Victoria cementing her as a gay icon. During the Broadway revival, she even stood up for the theater community, declining a Tony nomination because the rest of the cast had been overlooked. A year later, surgery to repair her vocal cords caused permanent damage. But she carried on, writing children's books with her daughter Emma, appearing in Shrek.
Excuse me, old lady coming through.
Writing 2 memoirs, and even singing again in the Princess Diaries sequel.
It'll always be your crowning glory.
Her life came full circle when she was knighted by Queen Elizabeth, not just for her musical gift, but for her courage and resilience.
Really impressive stories. All right, we move on to this. The holiday season is close, and around here, it's basically already begun, honestly. If you have already started listening to Christmas music, or maybe you're putting together that playlist, we have a special treat for you. Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, and Mark Martell have teamed up to bring us a new rendition of Silver Bells, and we have the exclusive first look at the behind-the-scenes music video on People Now. Here's a little taste.
Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile.
There we go, just a little blip there. It's a classic. We'll be singing that all day.
You already have been.
It's impossible to get that out of your head, and it's lovely. It looks like the artist obviously had fun making the song as well. Amy Grant said this, quote, "It is always fun to collaborate with friends and discover something new that can be brought to an old classic. Silver Bells is just timeless and so welcoming for the Christmas season." Michael W. Smith adds that because of his history working with Amy Grant, this collaboration was a no-brainer. He says, quote, "Any chance to sing with her again is a blessing to say the least." Smith also praised Mark Martell, saying that they all had a great time recording the song and are expecting to have even more fun when they perform it live during their Christmas tour. That tour kicks off November 30th. Meanwhile, Mark Martell was full of praise for both Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant. He also revealed that they had lots of fun, explaining lots of laughs, great conversation. It was the perfect precursor to our upcoming tour together, where I get to be their special guest, which sounds pretty amazing. They're going to have a full orchestra and all this stuff. The whole song is really good. For me, though, the standout part is when Mark Martell gives us this little kind of Queen Freddie Mercury vibe. Listen.
Silver bells, silver bells, silver bells.
Okay, it's in there just a little bit.
No, I can kind of hear it.
Fun fact here, Mark Martell was a vocalist for the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. Rami Malek actually talked to me at the SAG Awards last year about how amazing Mark's vocals were in the making of that film, how he really can channel Freddie Mercury. So kind of a cool vibe here with this new rendition of Silver Bells. It's available now wherever music is streamed, and you can stream the full music video there first exclusively on people.com.
You can also hear Jeremy singing it around the office all day if you wanted to do that as well.
Insta Live. Be there in the stories. Andrea, you have more for us in Star Treks.
I do. We are kicking off Star Treks today with one fashion icon putting on a show. Rihanna keeps serving looks on her Instagram, and I think we all have love on the brain now. Just one day after grabbing our attention with her fierce slow-motion bikini runway walk, the singer posted another gorgeous video, this time to her Instagram stories. The mirror selfie video from Thursday features Rihanna in a bright, sheer, frilly top paired with Daisy Dukes and strappy heels, proving she can totally rock every outfit she wears. Now, this was the video the beauty mogul posted on Wednesday, reminding everyone what a boss she is. She looks so good. It is over 12 million views. Super casual. No caption, because no caption needed. Rihanna has been working towards increasing inclusivity and body diversity. After launching her Fenty Beauty line in 2017, she expanded the brand to include lingerie. She's also been working to feature her designs on all body types, previously telling E! News, quote, "I want to see it on my body. I want to see it on a curvy girl with thighs and a little booty and hips. I want women to feel confident in my stuff." Well, it is official. Jennifer Lawrence will say "I do" to her fiance, Cook Maroney, on Saturday. People confirms the couple will tie the knot in front of 150 guests at the luxurious Belcourt of Newport in Newport, Rhode Island. The estate was designed in 1894 and was inspired by Louis VIII's hunting lodge in Versailles. Very chic. Now, according to Forbes, it's currently home to the CEO of jewelry company Alex & Ani, Carolyn Rafaelian, who took on restoring the property in 2012. Now, according to Carolyn, prior to her restoring the mansion, it was actually notorious for hosting ghost and mystery tours. In 2013, she told The Times, quote, "There were energies and entities, some not pleasant. I had a shaman perform ceremonies. We did a major cleansing energy-wise. There was a lot of heaviness, but we took care of that. Now the house has a different vibration," which is good because I'm sure J-Law isn't going for a Halloween theme for her wedding, or maybe she is, who knows. The property also doesn't offer much privacy. There are public streets on 3 sides of the suburban lot, including a stretch popular with tourists, but the house does have a central courtyard and inside a ballroom that was previously a horse stable, which is really cool. Unlike other Newport mansions, the venue does not offer any water views. But no worries, because according to TMZ, guests are expected to be treated to an extravagant menu with an array of hors d'oeuvres and dessert options, and I'm sure the mansion's decor makes up for the lack of water views. J-Law and Cook's wedding comes 8 months after the pair got engaged after less than a year of dating. Now, this past June, Jennifer gushed about her groom, calling him the greatest human being she's ever met, and adding, quote, "I feel very honored to become a Maroney. Very happy for them." And those are your Star Treks for today.
All right, stay with us, guys. Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston are weighing in on the state of romantic comedies today and their new series, The Morning Show. Plus, the Long Island medium herself, Teresa Caputo, one of our favorites. She is spilling the tea on wedding planning with her daughter, getting back in the dating game, and reading the Kardashians. Stick around for that story. Prince William and Kate Middleton have been on their royal tour of Pakistan this week, and we've been following along, but things got a little bumpy at the end of their trip. Here to give you all the details about that and everything royal are People's senior news editor Erin Hill and our royal correspondent Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Erin, let's start with you. What can you tell us what happened on this trip to Pakistan and the royal tour?
Yeah, it was a wonderful tour, and we had a surprise ending to it with a little bit of airplane drama at the very end.
AKA turbulence.
That's right.
Severe electrical storm turbulence.
Yes. So they were playing out of Lahore to Islamabad on Thursday, hit an electrical storm. They had to turn back around. We're now learning they spent the night in Lahore and then made their way back to Islamabad, which changed some of the itinerary for today, but we still got to see one outing, which was really great.
And didn't William kind of come back to the press in the plane and make a little joke?
He joked that he'd been flying, because obviously he is a pilot.
Right, like,
he joked that it was him flying.
Sorry, everyone, I've been flying the plane.
And then today, Kate did acknowledge, she called it a bit of an adventure and said it was bumpy up there, so.
Yeah. I love British understatement. It's just fabulous.
Let's talk about this, though. Kate Middleton did an interview that a lot of people are talking about. We have a quick clip.
William and I really wanted to come and see an SOS children's village like this. There's so many vulnerable women here, but they've really sort of used their positivity and the support that the village here provides them really to support and protect the next generation, the children in their care, and give them the best possible start to their future lives.
You look like you've really, really enjoyed the entire visit.
Yeah. It's been fantastic. We've seen a lot of Pakistan, a huge variety. It was amazing seeing some of the geography, but then to see some of the community activities like this has been really special.
Interesting to hear from her. Imogen, somewhat rare interview there.
Absolutely rare, but prime example of soft power diplomacy there. That's what the royals exist to do. And also, I have to say, you're seeing the future Queen of England. She's very much leaning into that role now, wouldn't you say, Erin?
Yeah, absolutely. Very regal moment, very sincere. Yeah.
It was really interesting to hear from them. It obviously means a lot to them to be there and to make the statements that they're making, even from just symbolically being there.
And they didn't put a foot wrong, and obviously it was a very difficult trip, and it was beautifully planned.
Yeah, and as you said, the soft power, I mean, they have such a warming effect on these nations that are dealing with like geopolitical challenges.
Yeah.
So for them to come in there, and have these cultural elements with the clothes they're wearing, arriving in a rickshaw, these are all bridging the two countries together.
Symbolically, yeah. Thank you for commenting on that. Really interesting to see her. Another note here, Queen Elizabeth and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, teamed up for a special anniversary. Imogen, tell us about that anniversary.
They don't often go out and about, just the two of them, but they attended a service at Westminster Abbey to mark 750 years since Edward the Confessor's original church was rebuilt under the reign of King Henry III. The new Gothic Abbey was, wait for this, consecrated on October the 13th, 1269.
A few years ago.
Yes. They were met by the Dean of Westminster, watched as a bouquet of roses was laid at the shrine of St Edward the Confessor on behalf of the monarch, and treasures from the Abbey, including a fragment of the shroud from the shrine of St Edward the Confessor, was laid on the high altar. Now, Westminster Abbey is obviously a very special place in the royal family. Kate and William got married there, Diana's funeral was there, and the Queen had her coronation there back in 1953.
Wow. Very special event.
Yes,
And speaking of a special anniversary, Imogen, it was Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank's one-year wedding anniversary. How did she celebrate?
Like every every bride does. On Instagram.
On Instagram, of course.
Where else?
Put it on the gram.
She marked her first anniversary with a very romantic Instagram tribute. The video included shots we've never seen before of the bride getting ready, as well as some close-up shots of her gorgeous gown. And in the background, the pair can be heard exchanging vows. She obviously went without a traditional veil to instead reveal her scar from scoliosis surgery. So some beautiful photos of that.
Yeah.
Eugenie is very into Throwback Thursdays. She now has 1 million followers on Instagram and is the only one of the young royals to have her own Instagram account.
Oh, killing it out there.
Super refreshing. She's always posting photos about family members and shout-outs for birthdays and anniversaries. It's really sweet.
The ridiculous outfits that her mum used to put her in, along with Beatrice, they are hysterical. So she's well worth a follow.
All right, follow her on the gram. Aaron, there's a documentary coming out this weekend as well. It's surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Tell us what to expect there.
Yeah, so on Sunday over in the UK, they're going to air Harry and Meghan, An African Adventure, which is really going to go inside their recent royal tour in South Africa. And we're going to get a glimpse into what the trip meant to them, but also into their lives behind the scenes, behind all the attention, the spotlight. Harry's talking about the effects of his mother's death, especially being in Africa, which meant so much to her. Meghan's opening up about being in the spotlight as a new mom and actually said, no one's asked me if I'm okay.
Yeah, wow. And Imogen, you were commenting that from the British perspective, it's going to be interesting to see how it's received.
Interesting timing. There is a showdown in Parliament this weekend about Brexit, and it's really scary times in the UK. So it'll be interesting to see how this documentary is received with a backdrop of the political situation.
And everything going on there. Also seen in the documentary, Harry mentioned something about the paparazzi. Aaron, tell us some about that.
Yeah, he says every time he sees a camera, he's reminded in the worst way of his mother, like when he hears a click, sees a flash. And that's really traumatic to hear that it's still so very raw for him.
Yeah, something that, go ahead, Imogen.
We have always known that William and Harry do have what's called a smiling hatred of the media. But yes, to hear him talking in this way is unprecedented.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about this documentary after it airs.
And then it airs in the U.S. next Wednesday.
All right, we'll be looking for that. Ladies, thank you very much.
Of course.
Good morning. I'm bringing you some sad and upsetting news. And while I don't know the details of the allegations,
she's throwing me under the bus.
Mitch Kessler, my co-host and partner of 15 years, was fired today.
Ooh, I'm so excited for this. The morning show premiering on November 1st when Apple TV Plus launches is a scripted look at what happens on one morning show when the longtime male anchor is fired for sexual misconduct.
It marks Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell's return to starring in television. And in addition to starring, Aniston and Reese Witherspoon both also serve as executive producers.
Well, we sat down with Jen and Reese and asked if they felt any freedom as actresses in these roles, seeing that they're both producers on their own show. Watch what they had to say.
I don't feel freedom, I feel a sense of responsibility.
Yes.
This is a big project. It's
huge.
A big undertaking, and it's also a lot of social responsibility to be taking all perspectives into account and representing them clearly. And I think we take that responsibility really seriously.
Really seriously.
Billy Crudup and Mark Duplass also star in the series as producers and executives behind the fictional morning show. We spoke to them about what it was like for them playing complicated men in the wake of Me Too.
This social upheaval, so there is no one corner, there's no portion of the fabric of our society that isn't affected and impacted in a pretty rich and dynamic way. So if you as an artist or whatever your job is, whether you're the president of the network, are not considering this or trying to understand your place and consider your behavior and the power structure and the dynamics, what you do to add to it, and what you can do to contribute to change and growth, then I think you're missing an opportunity. And so for me, being a part of this show is an opportunity to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just really fun watching two actors like Reese and Jen who, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, they've told me they felt like they would not have been able to be in a position of power to put the show into effect as actors and producers. And likewise, in this ultra meta way, the characters they're playing on the show are also finding themselves rising to positions of power and owning that power. And it's so fun to watch them, because you'll see these scenes, where Jen in character is saying, look, you bozos don't know what you're doing anymore, and I'm taking control now. And that is at once her character Alex speaking, but that is also Jen speaking. And Reese has those scenes too.
Now, this is a fun surprise. Mindy Kaling also appears in the morning show as a host on a rival talk show. So in a way, it's a mini reunion of The Office. But do Steve Carell and Mindy Kaling ever share scenes?
I don't want to talk too much about where the plotting of the show goes, you know, because there are quite a few surprises in terms of how this thing plays out. Yeah, I worked with Mindy on the Mindy Project for years. She's become a friend of mine, and you know, I know she was close with Reese, and we thought it would be a fun thing to bring her on.
And Gugu Mbatha-Raw plays the morning show's booker, so we asked her and her co-star Boehlke who the #1 celebrity is they would love to book and speak to in their own lives, living or dead. Take a look.
Obama, 100p. 100%.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. I'd love to speak to Nelson Mandela because he's my idol in life, and so even though I don't consider him a celebrity, I would bring him back and just have a nice chat.
Well, besides being colleagues, Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston are longtime friends, dating back to 2000 when Reese guest starred on Friends as Rachel Green's sister Jill. Now, they have the public fangirling over them all the time, so we thought it would be really fun to ask these real-life friends to fangirl over each other.
I
thought at the same time.
It's so easy. You are one of the most generous, loving people who has the most loyal, devoted friendships. You are hardworking, you are detail-oriented, you don't suffer fools, you know exactly what you want, and you do it elegantly and with grace.
Oh, well, that's just beautiful. I have to say, you are one of the most generous, kind, loving, thoughtful, concerned partners in crime, friends, one of the hardest working women I have ever encountered, and you, on top of it, have 3 stunning children, and you have a life that is large, and you do it with grace and elegance, and it inspires me, and I know it inspires so many other women who are in the same position.
I'm so glad you got that on tape.
Thanks. In your Oscars acceptance speech, you said, I'm just
Jen.
trying to matter.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jen.
You said, I'm just trying to matter. Do you still feel like you're just trying to matter, or have you changed?
Yeah, I think people are looking for purpose in their life, and I do feel very driven to create opportunities for other people. I've done a lot for myself in my career, and I'm excited now. We're at a juncture where we can open the door for other generations of people, different representation on film, and I feel like I'm trying to matter all the time. But you should feel purposeful in your work.
Yeah, it gives you incentive to keep going, especially knowing that you're a trailblazer for, you know, generations that are coming right up behind.
In Variety, you said that you wanted to return to the Meg Ryan era of movies. Both of you have done romantic comedies. What would it take for you to do like a full studio romantic comedy again?
What I meant by that was I have a sentiment, I feel very sentimental towards those movies of the 80s and 90s that were held in high regard, and they were really well received. And now there's almost like a little bit of a frowning down upon comedies, romantic comedies, and they're not really giving them the financial, you know, zhuzh that they need. Unless it's like a big sort of tentpole action movie. It was also
one of the only genres where women could emerge and become stars.
That's true.
And we lost a whole generation of stars when we lost the emergence of romantic comedy. So you didn't get the generations of girls like a little bit younger than us didn't get an opportunity to star in their own movies. And that's a deficit to our business.
Honestly, I could listen to them talk all day.
I can listen to them fangirl at each other all day.
Yeah, absolutely. For even more from Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and the whole cast of The Morning Show, make sure to check it out when Apple TV Plus launches on November 1st.
You okay?
Yeah. When you're a kid, you assume your parents are soulmates. My kids are going to be right about that.
Pam has spoken. She and Jim are still happily together. During an appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen on Thursday, Jenna Fischer was asked for her reaction to Chrissy Teigen's recent theory that 10 years after their wedding on The Office, the beloved TV couple was divorced. Take a look at Jenna's mock outrage.
What do you think is the state of Jim and Pam's marriage? You have to have thought about this.
Together.
Together.
They're together.
Okay.
Yeah. So earlier this week, Chrissy Teigen, aka the mayor of Twitter, sent Twitterverse into a frenzy when she asked fans to weigh in on the couple's fate with a poll a decade after their wedding aired during season 6 of The Office. As you can see in the poll, 70% were hopeful that Pam and Jim, played by John Krasinski, were still together.
Yeah, you can see Chrissy's thread of hilarious comments and viewpoints such as, I think they're together, but Philly Jim likes a taste of the high life and bottle service with athletes, and Pam still can't figure out her phone, so he never has to answer FaceTimes and he never gets caught. Chrissy's referring to the time that Jim started a new business venture, split his time between Philly and Scranton, which fans know created a rough patch for TV's favorite couple. Now, Chrissy also guessed that Pam, who has 2 children with Jim, Cece and Philip, is unhappy but content with their income and children. So she's like, whatever, and draws things for Etsy, like cozy home signs.
She's going all in. Now, Chrissy continues her predictions about some of the other couples from the show, saying Phyllis and Bob are still together, Dwight and Angela still together, Michael and Holly definitely together. Mathematically, I got a C+. Someone here has to be divorced. It's Jim and Pam.
I mean, numbers don't lie. So, math.
I think they're least likely to be divorced, though.
Definitely.
My personal
I
opinion.
agree. Jenna and Angela Kinsey also predicted where the rest of the Dunder Mifflin gang is today. According to Angela and Dwight are still running his beet farm. She adds that they've had many Schrute babies. They're everywhere. Michael Scott and Holly Flax, played by Steve Carell and Amy Ryan, did not move back to Scranton, but they're happily married and they have 2 kids. This is according to her.
I love the fan fiction. Now, one couple, they are confident, didn't live happily ever after. Kelly Kapoor and Ryan Howard. Perhaps this is the reason.
Big, strong man, fancy new whatever. I don't think you ever cared about me.
I never cared about you. 6 months ago, Karen Filippelli sent me an email, asked me out. I said no because I was committed to our relationship.
Well, I hope you're still committed because I'm pregnant.
Yeah, they definitely did not work out.
They may occasionally hook up, but that's it.
Yeah, the final couple that they were asked about was Phyllis and Bob Vance. Jenna joked that Phyllis killed Bob and collected the money. Kind of checks out. Jenna Fisher spoke to People last month and revealed she truly believes that Pam and Jim got there happily ever after, telling us, I just like to imagine that Pam and Jim are happily raising their family, and I like to think that Pam has found a way to work her artistic life and weave her arts into her life some way. Maybe she's still doing murals, or maybe she's an art teacher. I don't know what it is, but I hope whatever she's doing, that art is a big central part of her life.
Sounds good to me. All right, you can hear more of these conversations and theories on Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey's new podcast, Office Ladies. It is available now.
All right, we've been asking you in today's People poll whether you think Jim and Pam would still be together in 2019. So let's take a look. I think I know the answer. People want them together, right?
Do we have the poll?
Do we? Is this the cliffhanger?
Oh,
there we go.
yes,
It has to be
overwhelming.
87%.
There it is. Keep voting. But for now, we move on to this. Watch.
Was your dad also a very sharp dresser?
I think he was. I mean, my brother.
Do you have, whose tie do you have?
Rodney Dangerfield. His widow gave me one of his ties. Brought it with today, hoping he would visit me. So I'm glad he came by.
Because
I didn't tell anybody else about it. I just said I've got to bring these things. I hope Rodney is okay.
Wow.
Yeah, season 14 of Long Island Medium premieres tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on TLC. And here with us is the Long Island Medium herself, Teresa Caputo. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
We
to
love
be
you
with
guys.
I love you guys.
Yeah,
You
so
guys
good
are
to see-
awesome.
As you were watching that, you were saying you were getting the chills watching his
I
reaction.
was.
We were too. Were you surprised that
I
it
was
hit
shocked.
so hard for him, for Louis
Shocked.
Anderson? Yeah.
Well, I've never seen the clip, so
Yeah.
I don't see the episodes until they air.
Yeah.
But that was insane. He had such a, look, I hate to say, oh, he had such an incredible moment, but that's what happens when someone comes for an experience. Those little moments of those little things like that, that kind of, still freak me out and blow my mind.
Yeah, you have a moment like that, but overall, encountering Louis Anderson, we've had him on the show. Such a great guy. What was your takeaway?
God, he was just amazing. So, what a beautiful person. And, when you realize, people go through so many things in their life and, it's hard. Life is hard.
Yeah.
And then and how he changes people's life, with, his talent, and it was an honor to meet him.
On this season, we're going to see some of your daughter Victoria's engagement
Yeah.
and wedding dress shopping.
Is she old enough to get married?
That's a good question. I don't know what's going on here.
We hear Spirit comes through when you're wedding dress shopping. So who came?
Come on. Not only now people are coming to look at dresses, and now they bring in all their family members.
it's a whole new experience
You're in
here.
Kleinfeld's for crying out loud. I mean, come on. It was great. It was Lisa that was helping us. Someone had come through for her. And there was also a reading from just someone, you know, looking at dresses. And it was so funny. She's getting married. I think it was around the same time as Victoria, so it was pretty exciting, yeah.
Did any of your departed family members come through?
I did receive a message from a sign from my grandmother, and this is what I love is that, so one of the dresses that Victoria picked, you know, they were like, oh, it's this little Italian man from Naples in Italy, and he doesn't speak a stitch of English, and he's this amazing seamstress, and my grandmother was a seamstress, and she's from Naples, so.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother was with me when I went wedding dress shopping, so.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's such it's like, look, the wedding experience is already very special, but then to have those types of elements that you uniquely can bring into it, just like literally next level. Has the wedding date been set?
Not all the details are complete, so you know I love people, so you guys are, you know.
Did she choose her dress though?
Yes.
And do you have yours?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because that'll be obviously a big day for you as well.
Everyone always says that, and I'm like, no, this is Victoria's Day. They're like, how do you feel being the mother of the bride? I'm like, I feel like the banker. That's what I feel like. I feel like Chase P. Morgan.
Chase P. Morgan. That's it, writing checks. All right. Are you doing anything, or will there be anything as part of the ceremony that incorporates departed loved ones?
Oh, you know, we really haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure, you know, we both have, you know, on both sides of the family, you know, Victoria was very close with my grandparents, her great-grandparents, so I'm sure she'll incorporate family members.
And your ex-husband Larry is still on the show. You two co-parent, especially with everything going on with the engagement.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at this clip really quick about the season's Super Tease.
My life is different. I'm divorced, I'm alone, I'm trying to figure it out.
I just love California, but I'm excited to come back and celebrate. And honestly, I'm a little nervous about seeing everyone. It's an emotional moment.
Yeah, so is this an emotional moment for you, seeing him again at the engagement party?
You know, I love when Larry comes to New York and, you know, we're able to still be as a family, you know, and I know that's like kind of odd but at the end of the day, we're still a family.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little like, oh my God, because I hadn't seen him in so long, but, you know, he was right back, you know, mingling, you know, with the family and everything, so it's really great that we're able to have still a nice relationship, you know.
Doesn't
it's
always
important.
happen.
Yeah, and you know, it's important. It's very, very important.
Yeah, well, there's still that family unit, right? That you want to have at least cordial relationships. How are you guys today?
We're great.
Yeah.
You know, just like how when we covered everything on Long Island Medium, it was such a special, I kind of feel crazy saying this, you know, because it's sad. You know, no one wants to see anyone get divorced, and that's the last thing that I ever thought in a million years that Larry and I would ever be divorced. But, you know, even going through it on the show, you know, I've had people come up to me and say, not only has your gift helped me in life, but, you know, my wife and I had a gentleman come up and say, my wife and I, we were watching your show, and what you and Larry were putting out there, we looked at each other and said, this is us. This is what we're going through.
Wow.
He says, we're in therapy. He says, I don't know what's going to happen. He says, but at the end of the day, he says, I know that we're doing everything that we can to stay together. And that for me was a moment of, you know what? This is a really, really great show, you know.
Different level.
Yeah,
of
completely
helping
different.
people and being an example for people. Do you feel like now you and Larry are better separate than together in terms of just making life work?
Yeah, at this point in our lives, yes. If you said 30 years ago, I would say it was different, you know, but today, absolutely.
Yeah, and is there dating in your future? How are you approaching all of that?
Well, dating is hard and weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, for me, I've been with Larry since I met Larry when I was 17. We started dating when I was 18. So what is dating? And like dating today is so different than when it was. You know, I met Larry at work, you know, and it's just, it's hard. And, you know, Larry and I, 9 years ago when we decided to do Long Island Medium, we decided to put our lives on television and live a public life.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. And I share everything on Long Island Medium. And, you know, trying to date, you know, not only do now I have to find someone that accepts what I do, embraces what I do, but then on another level of they might not want to live a public life. A lot of people, what I'm finding out, they like to live a very private life.
Also, how scary for a man to sit down across from you knowing that some spirit might be telling you all of his worst things.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, you're getting like the inside scoop over here. Like, I gotta get out of here.
Are you worried about spirit driving someone away?
No. Well, you know what? But that, yeah, look, it happens, and it is. It's not. I make what I do look very easy. My family, we make what I do and just life easy. When it's hard.
Yeah.
Life isn't easy.
Would you get married again?
I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily get married again. Find someone to, have a companion to enjoy life with, but get married, I don't. Right now, in this moment, I'd have to say no.
I will say you seem very happy.
Oh, thank you.
So good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about this. You did an off-camera reading with Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah.
That was something that
they are so sweet.
Yeah. That had to be such a special moment for them.
It was really, truly special and an honor, and I considered it an honor and a privilege to be able to share my gift, with her, and for them to trust me with the souls of their departed loved ones was even more so special. So.
Are you able to say if their father came through during that?
Yes, their dad did come through. Other things had happened, but that's for them to talk about, not me. And I don't remember things that I say anyway, because they're not my own personal thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Yeah.
So.
Was their attitude about it, I know you can't give away details, but was their attitude about it sort of like a healing type thing, or was it more just,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All validations. When you connect with a loved one, and this is what I try to explain to people, what I do, I try to just give messages, have spirit deliver messages that are going to help us embrace life with happiness and joy. Because when I first accepted my gift, I struggled with who's going to want to come and talk to their relatives that have died. I could not understand that. And what I learned is that unfortunately, no matter who we lose or how they die, young or old, are they missing out on our lives? Do they know who we become? Are they mad at me? Burdens and guilt that we might carry connected to someone's passing. How are you supposed to heal if you have all of these what ifs and all of these negative emotions? You just can't. Yeah. So it just helps us in that healing process.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for
always good to talk to you. And guys, everyone make sure to watch Long Island Medium season premiere tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on TLC, and Fridays at 9 after that.
All right, National Geographic is digging into an age-old question: what happened to Amelia Earhart?
On this flight, really no bad weather at all except a few little rain squalls. I saw the moon and stars most of the night. Of course, in both flights, I was very glad to see land.
The search for answers in her disappearance continues in National Geographic's Expedition Amelia. A team of experts and explorers work to uncover clues and answers on Nicomaroro Island in the Pacific, where they believe Amelia lived out her final days. Well, I sat down with expedition leader Allison Fundis to talk about what goes into a mission like this. Take a look.
We had 2 ships on site with us. We had a land-based team. We had a team focused on looking at the deep sea. We had a scuba diving team. There were 2 forensic dogs on one of the boats. So really just kind of coordinating that ballet was challenging.
Yeah, I mean, how do you coordinate? Like, how did you get everyone there working all at once?
Yeah, it's tough. It took a year of planning ahead of time, and a lot of phone calls, a lot of just, kind of coordination in terms of what the teams are doing kind of day by day, and a lot of communication, and that's really the key, is just making sure everybody's playing off the same page while we're out there. I was on the scuba team, but I was also on the ship and coordinating the robotic vehicles and the surveys that they were conducting.
Yeah, that's really cool that you had people in the air, on land, in water. What was the communication like between all the groups?
We had a lot of radios, so it was, and then we had the small boats that were going back and forth between the 2 ships and to land. So there were a few of us that were kind of the cruise coordinators, so to speak, and making sure that everybody was well aware of what all the other teams were doing. But we were constantly just talking on the marine radios to make sure that we knew where everybody was and what they were doing, what they were finding.
Yeah, I would imagine on the radios, if someone finds something or gets really excited, it's probably a really thrilling, exciting time, right? Like, were people over the radio being like, I found something, and you guys would be freaking out?
There are moments of excitement, because a search like this, we were on site for 3 weeks, and so a lot of it is, you're searching, you're not seeing things at times, and so when you see something that could be part of the Lockheed Electra, there's a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement, and that raises everybody's energy quite a bit on the ship.
It was never lost on Allison that what and who she was searching for had a tremendous legacy. Amelia Earhart was a trailblazer, and she's a representation of female empowerment. Allison was so inspired, and it affects every part of her job, including who she hires.
She was such a pioneer in the air, and I think that's what a lot of people know about her is, all of her firsts and all of her kind of monumental achievements in the air. But what she did on land was equally inspiring to me. She was, definitely ahead of her time in terms of women equality and really advocating for women being equal to men in the workplace.
She was a badass, basically.
Total.
I mean, such a trailblazer. And I know that you hire a lot of women on your teams. Why is that so important for you?
Because, just like Amelia tried to, champion, it's women are equal. And, I think that's what we are really proud of on our ship, is that we have equal women as to men on the ship. And, I think it's really important to us, for especially young kids, that, they need to see the role models in the careers that they might want to have someday. And so we really want to, put that at the forefront of what we do and show that women are on the ship with us. Women are great multitaskers, and a lot of situations, probably better than men at multitasking. And so you have to wear a lot of hats on board the ship. You're limited to the people that you have on board, and and so we have to kind of be able to put on whatever hat and turn a wrench, or and conduct the science and deploy the vehicles. So it takes a lot of jacks of all trades.
Do you ever see any parallels with Amelia in her life, and you, or some of the people you work with, some of the women?
I would like to think so. Yeah, I think just kind of pushing down some barriers and opening doors for the women behind us. I think every woman, likes to think that they can do that for somebody behind them, and so I would like to think so.
Now, besides working alongside some pretty amazing women, Allison also works with Dr. Robert Ballard on this expedition. You might recognize his name. He led the successful mission to find the Titanic after it sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean after, of course, striking that iceberg.
Yeah, Allison shares with me some of the things she's learned working with him, including how to keep pushing through.
He works really quickly, and so I think what I've learned from him is really just to keep going, to keep pushing. Even in a face of a great challenge, just push through it. And it's, he's been a great inspiration and a great role model for that. Bob is a visionary, and he calls me his tactician. So he's at the high level and kind of saying, this is the search that we need to deploy. And then I work with the team to figure out how we're going to implement it. So he is wonderful to work with. He's been a great mentor. And he's really the champion behind really promoting women on our ship, and it's been really wonderful.
Now, as for what actually happened to Amelia Earhart, Allison has a theory and refers to some very important clues.
We think that she did survive. We think that she did land. The radio signals that were triangulated. There were some distress calls after her disappearance that suggest that she was alive for a few days afterwards, and at least a few days afterwards. And just really what happened. She was such a pioneer and such an amazing woman. I think that she would have fought for everything to survive, and just really would love to help tell that chapter and close that.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of theories out there on what happened. Like, personally, what do you think was the real truth of what happened?
I think she got close. I think she got really close. And so I definitely think that she either landed on that island and we just missed the plane, or the plane landed in the ocean, not too far off. And so I think it's out there, and we're gonna keep looking.
It was so great chatting with her. It's a great documentary. You learn so much about Amelia's life and the woman she was. And the doc is actually voiced by actress Allison Janney. Fun fact.
Very cool. You can see more of Allison and her team's search for answers in Expedition Amelia when it premieres Sunday, October 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Geographic. All right, earlier this week, we caught up with Matthew Modine. His new film, Miss Virginia, is out in theaters and on demand today. You make sure to check that out.
And he couldn't let him go without putting him to the test with a quick round of rapid-fire questions. Take a look. Favorite fall activity?
Apple picking.
Ooh, Jeremy, you
just
have
did it.
coming.
Got 30 apples in my house. Come over. What's your favorite thing to eat?
Vegan buckwheat pancakes.
Oh my goodness, not the expected answer at all.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
People who say they're environmentalists they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Favorite city to visit?
Rome.
Ooh.
What do you love about Rome?
everything. There's nothing not to love about Rhode. All roads lead to Rome.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
All animals? You could speak to dolphins.
Every
single animal.
Especially
I would
dolphins.
speak to animals.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay right now not knowing.
Wouldn't you like to
every
talk to a chimpanzee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like
See how close they are to
a
just being
gorilla.
there.
Yeah. I mean, gorillas always look like they're ready to tell you a whole bunch of stuff.
They've been through some things, and they wish they
I
could.
would want to talk to horses.
Or elephants. Oh my God.
3 people over for dinner, dead or alive, or fictional, who would they be?
Well, I want to have a chat with Jesus. I think that would be cool, just because for me, I think Jesus was a man, and it makes him even more powerful. John Kennedy and Dr. Martin Luther King. I would have said Abraham Lincoln because I love him, but I think he really suffered with depression. It could be a really dark night.
He was so fun.
One of the more interesting guests we've had in a while, right?
Yeah.
Love that guy. Coming up next week, we're joined live by Beth Stern. She's not coming alone. Not with cats this time. She is bringing dogs. Get
Plus,
ready.
Jamila Jamil joins us with the Impractical Jokers. Do they prank us? Do we prank them? Do we all just get along and have a lovely conversation? Tune in to find out. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Ja Rule.
Have a
Bye.
great weekend.
Hi, I'm Ja Rule, and this is one last thing. The last person I text was my wife. The last time I got starstruck was, I don't really get starstruck, but Muhammad Ali.
Mr. Ali? Mr. Ali? Mr. Ali?
The last show I binge watched, I just got through binge watching, Billions.
There is nothing that I won't do to defend what's mine.
Axel Rod, what's up, baby?